On behalf of the American Chamber of Commerce, you're all very welcome to our Thanksgiving event. This is always a very special occasion for the American Chamber and our members, and it's great to see so many of our members and your guests here today. It's also great to be back in the Four Seasons, and I would like to in particular acknowledge Jose Soriano, the General Manager here at the Four Seasons, the banqueting manager David Kelly, who's been working with my team since 7 a.m. this morning, all the guys and girls in the room, and in particular the chefs in the kitchen, because they always make such a fantastic effort with our Thanksgiving feast, and I've no doubt that today is going to be no exception. I'd like to especially acknowledge the sponsors of today's event, which are United, and to extend a very warm welcome to their Managing Director, Bob Schumacher, to their Sales Manager for Ireland and Northern Ireland, Yvonne Muldoon, and to say to you, thank you for partnering with us, and you and your guests are very welcome, and I look forward to introducing Bob in just a few minutes. The Minister for Finance will be joining us at approximately 2 o'clock. So we'll be hearing from the Minister for Finance and our President, Gerard Kilcummins, at that time. So I would just like to say a few opening remarks in relation to the American Chamber and to US investment in Ireland. Now, least it has escaped anybody's attention, and if it has, you're a very bad member. The American Chamber is celebrating its 50th anniversary in Ireland this year, and we're also celebrating 50 years of continuous US investment. And we were founded in 1961. The US ambassador to Ireland at the time was a gentleman called Scott MacLeod. And when he launched the Chamber back in 1961, he said that US firms desiring to do business abroad are bound to take a look at Ireland. And he had every confidence that great progress could be made. Well, the latest figures released from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, the BEA, confirm that US investment now exceeds $190 billion. That is still more than the combined investment that US companies have made in Brazil, Russia, India and China, and it's 5 times greater than it was only 10 years ago. In celebrating our 50th anniversary, we celebrate the fact that there are over 600 global companies here, directly employing over 100,000 people, supporting tens of thousands of jobs in Irish industry, exporting in excess of 100 billion every year in goods and services around the world. Indeed, US companies now account for almost 25% of Ireland's total economic output. And of course, it's by no means a one-way street. Irish companies have invested significantly in the United States. Irish companies have invested over 35 billion and in fact employ over 120,000 people in the US, which actually is a statistic that surprises a lot of people. This has been an extraordinary year for the American Chamber and indeed for foreign direct investment. Last year, Ireland was one of the few countries in the world that actually saw an increase in foreign direct investment coming in. It grew by 18%. From January to June this year, over 17.7 billion in investment came into Ireland. That was up a staggering 49%. And US companies this year have announced almost 4,000 new jobs, and many of those companies are here in the room today. And as we project into 2012, global foreign direct investment is predicted to grow by 30%. And given the magnificent base of companies we have here, that obviously presents significant opportunity for future growth. And in fact, the annual multinational survey that was issued on the 8th of November this year here in Ireland, of the multinationals that responded to that, over 49% of them will actually grow job numbers. And on that note, I really would like to acknowledge Barry O'Leary, from the Chief Executive from the IDA. I know you have other colleagues here, Barry, in the room, and also your colleagues all over Ireland and the United States and around the world for your tremendous efforts in continuing, in a very, very tough global environment, continuing to bring in investment into Ireland. And we do acknowledge that, and thank you for that, Barry. So, there could not have been a more opportune time for the American Chamber to celebrate our 50th anniversary this year. We have really maximised our relationship with the Irish and the international media to communicate and to reinforce that Ireland is open for business and that we remain a world-class destination for global foreign direct investment. We have, I hope, fully utilised our events programme and our public platforms like today to drive a very positive message about the size and the scale and the contribution of US companies that you're making to our current economic situation and indeed the success of our economic future. And we're also using our interaction with the new government to stress the importance of continuing with a competitive corporate taxation regime, as well as continued investment in education, in skills and in innovation. And on behalf of the American Chamber today, I would like to thank each and every one of you in the room and our members all around the country for everything you contributed to our successful year this year. We can only be an effective chamber because of your tremendous support and engagement, and we really, really do look forward to working with you in bringing the chamber on over the years to come. Now, as this is his final event, I would like to especially thank and acknowledge the President of 2011, Mr. Gerard Kilcummins. As you've just seen, he put a huge amount of time and energy and commitment into his year as President of the Chamber, wearing both his Medtronic and his AmCham hats. He is held in very high regard by business leaders, by our members, by government, by policymakers, and he has been very well positioned to drive a very strong and a very focused business agenda on behalf of our members around the country. So, Jerry, I know I speak for the board, for all of our members and everyone here today when I say you have been a fantastic President. We are very fortunate to have had your leadership, and we look forward to continuing to working with you and Medtronic into the future, and thank you so much. I'd also like to actually acknowledge the Medtronic management team who are here today for all their support of Jerry throughout the year. It's now my great pleasure to once again acknowledge the sponsor of today's event, which are United, not only for partnering with us in hosting the lunch today, but also for their generosity. They provided the beautiful string quartet that we heard earlier. It's the Ulster Orchestra. They provided us wonderful gifts of iPod speakers, and just in a few minutes we're going to do a draw for 2 transatlantic tickets on their award-winning first business service. Just a little few words on United. Following the Continental United merger, United are now the leading airline in the world. They have flights to over 5,700 flights a day to 376 cities, supported by a workforce of over 80,000 people. Access is a critical part of our infrastructure here in Ireland in attracting and retaining US investment here. And United have been providing service into Ireland since 1998. They have 4 flights a day from Dublin, Belfast, Shannon to Newark, and recently, just earlier this month, they announced additional service into Washington. And from their hubs in Newark and Dulles, they have serviced over 300 cities in North, South, Central America and the Caribbean. And, you know, 4 flights a day is a big investment, and it's a big commitment by United. But it's also a vote of confidence that Ireland has the passenger numbers and has the cargo to support those flights. And I know that many of you, many of our members around the country already use the transatlantic service on United.